Hello, Dr. Dave. Dr. Dave, hello, from Washington, D.C. I've traveled a lot in my life, and in recent years I've been glad to carry your podcast with me when I go. They're especially helpful in this current time of mourning after a school shooting. I recently wrote a blog titled Reverse Engineer Your Brain, Dr. Panksepp's Research, and More. I'll say more about that later on, but I'm very glad for your way of opening up the field of psychology with interviews with the dedicated clinicians, educators, and researchers who are contributing so much to society. Your interviews are lively, and even the earlier ones are relevant. You are really shining now, and that's a great example. I'm proud to say it that way because I'm a baby boomer planning on another 15 to 20 active years of practice, writing, and teaching. I'm feeling younger all the time, or at least exploringly as a healthy young child would, gaining new knowledge about what it is to be an active participant in life and in this complex and sometimes painful world. I'm sending you some pictures of me and the American flag at half-mast, where I was today in a Veterans Park in the D.C. area. I qualify also as a Vietnam-era veteran and also as a licensed naturopathic physician. I recently started reading a book titled No Surrender, a World War II memoir by James Sheeran. And he is, or rather was, a paratrooper who went into the helped prepare the area before the invasion, but that's not what happened. It's quite a story. It was published in 2012, and, well, it was almost published by the time that he died. Looking back on the service of him and those who were military veterans and their families and communities, I also honor those who stood for their own understanding of what was right and did other things. I'm now thinking of your interview with psychotherapist Edward Tick, number 109, titled War and the Soul. He works with veterans as well as with those who chose to serve in other ways. Living in the D.C. area, I've met people with a wide range of life stories, and I've written that the civil rights actions in the South in the 60s brought those citizens fully into the ranks of veterans too. I told one peacemaker that he and I were each cut by opposite edges of the same sword. I'm looking forward to more of your interviews because at their core, I think each psychotherapist seeks to serve a greater whole. And I'm looking forward to seeing how our nation will continue to be enriched by the service and sacrifices of those who serve now, those who have served, and their families and communities. I feel deeply moved by observing my own feelings in these days of both mourning and of meaning being brought out of the tragedy. In my blog about your interview with Dr. Panksepp, I titled it Reverse Engineer Your Brain. It sounded like a good title at the time and could have had multiple meanings, but now, after the school shootings, I think that one clear meaning is that a lot of us hope that with new discoveries in neuroscience, we can go and reverse some things in ourselves that we'd rather not function the way they do at the moment. In that blog, I feature two of your interviews with Dr. Panksepp and one with Dr. Stephen Porges. He's the one that did autonomic nervous system and brain function research, and he coined the term the polyvagal theory to describe the expanded new way that we must understand the autonomic nervous system. It has 3 levels to it, which he describes very well and is introduced in a video on my blog from the National Institute for the Clinical Application of Behavioral Medicine. It's all there, and they've done a wonderful job of introducing his work. And then people can click on and hear your full hour interview. It's amazing what he and you shared. Again, at this time of responding to tragedy and being resilient, I'm glad for Shrink Wrap Radio. Thanks to you, I was able to remember and practice some of the many suggestions given by various shrink wrap interviewees. I could say more, but I'll send this to you now. Thanks so much for your slogan. It's all in your mind.